I need some help today. I need some energy. I told you this before you said, we're going to have fun before we went on the air. I said, well, you might. I've watched a lot of bad wrestling in a short period of time, and I've watched a lot of just stupid behavior in a short period of time. And I feel dejected, disappointed, downhearted, deprived, depraved, debauched, whatever the case. I feel like somebody stole my change and left me a box of Girl Scout cookies. I'm just disappointed. Did I ever tell you that story?
I have no idea what you're referencing. No.
I thought about this about 15 minutes ago when I saw a Girl Scout cookie commercial on television. This was 2008-ish when I was in TNA, right? And once or twice a month, I was driving back and forth from Louisville to Orlando for these TV tapings, right? And so on the way down there, I wouldn't go all the way in one fell swoop. Leaving, I'd come back 13 and a half hours straight to get fucking home, right? But going down, I wasn't in as big a hurry to get there. I would stop an hour and a half, 2 hours past Atlanta in South Georgia, nice little Hampton Inn right off the interstate, park right at the back door, easy peasy, in and out, blah, 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 and continue on my way the next day. So one night I'm there, the next morning I get up, I'm going to head on to Florida, and I've got the unlocker gimmick on my keychain. You know what the unlocker gimmick. And I always use that. Yeah, when you can unlock your vehicle on your keychain, the unlocker gimmick.
The key?
You don't have
the modern key gimmick? That you press the button?
Well, I have a key, but also have the keychain that has the unlocker gimmick. It has a button you can lock it, a button you can unlock it, a button you can hit the deal, and the tailgate comes up and everything.
I didn't know that was the name of it, and I also don't call the trunk the tail.
Well, it's not a trunk on an Expedition. It's an SUV. It's the tailgate thing that comes up, right? You see what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about. I just never have called it that. I didn't know that's what it's called.
The unlocker gimmick. Anyway, I always use the unlocker gimmick when I'm walking up on the vehicle because I'm anal about, as you can imagine, about a variety of things, but about locking and unlocking my vehicle. I never get out of the vehicle and have it turn my back on it without it being locked, right? When I'm walking up on it, I come up from the back, I hit the unlocker gimmick, I pop the tailgate up, I put all my stuff in. As I normally do, I put the tailgate back down. And then I go around, and when I open the driver's door, my door handle is loose. And I'm like, I could spend 10 minutes trying to describe it, but point is, it was still functioning. It would open and close the door, but it was loose. You could shake it. It was rattling. I'm like, what the fuck? How did this happen? I was the last one to get out of this last night. I don't recall this. Anyway, I sit down, and I go to stick the key in and turn it on, and you know how when you see the same thing in the same place every day for long periods of time, you get used to it. But then suddenly one of those things gets moved, and you can tell, even though you don't know yet for that second, you don't know what's different, but something's different, right?
Yeah.
As I go to put the key in, I stick it in, I go, something's different. And I look down in the tray in the console of the vehicle there where I throw all my change, right? I go to Wendy's, get the change, throw the coins in there. There's tolls in Florida on the highway and et cetera, so keep all my change there. Probably $10, $12, $15, quarters, dimes, nickels, whatever. There is not a coin, not a penny, not a speck of dust left in that little tray. Somebody has got in the goddamn, and for a minute, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember. What did I do? No, it's somebody else. Some other motherfucker has got in here and taken all my change. And that's why the door handle was loose. They've done the fucking, the opener gimmick, not the other kind of unlocker gimmick where you stick the thing down in the deal and you pull it up and it comes in the thing and happens there like that.
They jacked your car.
Well, that's the way they talk about it in New York. But I'm in South Georgia and I've been robbed. I'm thinking, what the? Now I'm thinking, wait a minute, my Sirius radio receiver. I got the radio receiver gimmick. It's underneath some towels, the burger towels, black towels next to my garbage bag behind the front seat. So I get out, open the back door, and look in there, and my radio receiver is in there, and nothing else has been touched, and nothing else in the console and the little bucket, everything. But there on the floorboard is a box of Girl Scout cookies. And I didn't have any Girl Scout cookies. And I'm trying to think, well, what the fuck? Stay says, why would these not even the Girl Scout cookies that I like? Why would she have gotten Girl Scout cookies and put them in the truck and not even told me about it? So I call her on the phone. I'm, hey, I just got robbed. And why did you put Girl Scout cookies in the truck? And she's, what the fuck are you talking about? She didn't know anything about the Girl Scout cookies. I didn't know anything about the Girl Scout cookies. Whoever broke into my truck in the parking lot, see, this was South Georgia, so they were polite Southern criminals.
Of course.
They didn't want to just steal shit outright. So what they did was they overcharged me for Girl Scout cookies. They broke into my truck. They stole all my change out of the goddamn console and left me an unopened box of Girl Scout cookies. So I couldn't be mad because I wasn't robbed. I was just overcharged.
But they weren't the cookies you like, so you could be mad.
Well, I at the same time, they didn't really have any way to tell which kind I liked. They were trying to give me some value for the inconvenience.
Only you would get robbed in Mayberry in 2021. But let me ask you a question.
Well, no, this was 2008. It's
okay,
been a while.
2008. You said something, and I'm just curious if I'm misreading it. But when you go past tolls, I mean, now you can't really use change. Now, especially here in the Northeast, you really need an Easy Pass. You need an Easy Pass for a lot of these places. There's a lot of places now that don't accept any money. You need an Easy Pass.
Oh, fuck that. It'll be easy for me to pass. If they don't give me the option of paying as I go, I'll just blow on through, and they can take it up with me later. That'll be the Easy Pass.
I can't wait to see that on a Throg's Neck. That would be very entertaining, I must say. But my point is, do you give exact change, or were you saying that when you drive by, you just grab a handful of change and throw it in the machine?
No, I give the change that is required.
Okay.
For the goddamn, that's why I have all that change.
I know, but you said pennies and nickels, and I'm like,
well,
okay,
they give you pennies at Wendy's. So I've got those in there too. I'm not going to sit there and take time out of my busy schedule to sort the pennies out and what am I supposed to do? Just throw them out the window?
So that's what I'm saying. Are you just taking change even if you don't need to and throwing it into the machine?
No.
So you keep the pennies?
I keep the pennies, and later on I will bring the pennies home and put the pennies in the jug. And then once a year I go to the machine that counts the stuff and blah, blah, blah. Because the bank won't count your change anymore. At least my bank won't. I used to do that until about 3 or 4 years ago. They said, well, we don't do this anymore unless you're a business. I'm like, well, fuck, I am a business. But there I was with a fucking bag of change. But anyway, but no, I use the exact change in the tolls. And I'm very, and if, I'll tell you another thing, if I'm behind you, you sorry sack of shit, and you are sitting there fumbling and looking and opening up the back door and trying to go under the couch cushion at the toll booth to find your fucking change, you shouldn't have left the goddamn house unless you had exact change to perpetrate your journey and continue on without holding up innocent people who are prepared and anxious and ready to go along with this transaction.
See, I'm disappointed.
Assholes.
I'm disappointed. I was actually hoping that you just hate toll booths so much that you drive as fast as you can, just throw as much change. You don't even care how much it is right at the machine.
No, no. Because then it'll take longer for it to count it. But I'll tell you what, there is in Virginia, I believe, this was in the 80s, maybe the early 90s. They might still be. I don't know, but in some places in Virginia, out toward the Tidewater area, as I recall, out amongst Norfolk, Virginia Beach, that area.
That's where the Mets used to have their AAA team. That's right.
Well, I really don't care. They used to have a deal where you would get off the interstate at night and you would come on this goddamn exit and there was a toll to get off and it was unmanned. And it was only like I came a quarter or whatever. But this is not a place where that you when you're driving to this area, you haven't been going through a lot of tolls. It was like tolls just suddenly come up and it's only a quarter. But if you didn't have a quarter, there was no option of a human being to give you any change. You either had to sit there, I guess, until somebody came along and you could beg a quarter from, or you would back up and continue on the road, none of which was an option if it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning we were trying to go home. So those would get blown through. And a couple of times when they had the gate thing, the thing that comes down, you know what I'm saying?
The gate.
Some of those, according to some of the boys, may have been laying on the side of the road as the boys went by that didn't have a quarter because he couldn't get away any other or get through any other way. But that was before they had security cameras.
Yeah, now they film your license plate every time you go by.
Yeah, well, that's, all you got to do is just hit that button and your license plate turns over. You got 3 sides to it.
What?
And bing. Oh, you don't do that?
No,
anyway, so